Welcome to Cherry Bekaert's Industrial Manufacturing Podcast. We are excited to kick off our latest series titled Building a Competitive Recovery, where we will discuss the challenges of this COVID recovery landscape and provide strategies to position your manufacturing business for future success. I'm Matt Brady, leader of the firm's Industrial Manufacturing Industry Group. Today, I'm joined by Joe Haehner, an assurance director who focuses his practice on developing and executing multinational operational strategies, and McKenna Beddingfield, a senior manager in our digital advisory practice, who leads our analytical solutions group and drives digital transformation for our clients. Welcome, Joe and McKenna.
Thanks for having me, Matt.
Excited to be here.
Well, let's dive in. The focus of today's podcast is to discuss how manufacturers can use digital strategies to optimize supply chain. Before we jump into the digital aspect, Joe, I'd like you to bring us up to speed on the supply chain current state. What are your observations of the current developments surrounding industrial businesses' supply chain strategy?
Sure, lots going on in that space. US-based industrial manufacturing companies are seeing an increased demand for their products, mainly driven by consumers focusing on spending their time and accumulated savings on activities closer to home or stateside. The demand surged for certain recreational products like boats during the pandemic. For example, the Federal Reserve Bank of Kansas City stated that from March to April 2020 alone, the savings rate nearly quadrupled. That means that for every $100 of disposable income, consumers saved $7 in December. And that trend continued over the course of 2020 well into 2021. Hence, manufacturers are faced with the challenge not being able to satisfy the increased demand as they are not able to source sufficient materials to produce their sought-after products. I'm a big fan of UBS and Paul Donovan, who is the chief economist for UBS, and he notes the world economy is producing goods at a near all-time record rate, but no supply chain can accommodate a sudden 25% raise in demand. It would widely be unprofitable to hold that much capacity. And he's absolutely right with that assessment. The sudden increase in demand and the already challenged supply chain due to COVID restrictions and international sourcing strategies tests manufacturers in the United States.
So, Joe, are these challenges to supply chain a new development?
Great question, Matt. The COVID pandemic exposed weaknesses in current supply chains, which have not been addressed in the past due to related CapEx needs and strategic realignments. Doing nothing is no option anymore. International sourcing strategies for supply chains have been under pressure for many years now, most notably with the trade war and related tariffs with China. Many manufacturers are struggling to source critical parts and components from their suppliers. Changing suppliers, however, is not easy either, as, for example, high quality standards or other requirements need to be considered. For example, contractual obligations. Furthermore, this is an industry-wide challenge with industry-wide demands for certain parts. And we all know from reading the newspaper, chip shortages is one of the high pressing topics right now.
Yeah, Joe, we've certainly heard about chip shortages, especially for those who are looking to buy cars or many other consumer goods. So what's a solution from your perspective?
So unfortunately, Matt, there is no quick fix to this scenario and these problems. Local sourcing and nearshoring of production capabilities can be strategies to mitigate supply chain challenges in the future, though. Taking a hard look at your existing supply chain and related implications and problems is certainly a good start. This assessment needs to be used to develop a future supply chain strategy for the individual organization. Local sourcing, in a nutshell, refers to utilizing suppliers in closer proximity to manufacturing facilities to mitigate risks of delays and being able to use different means of transportation as needed or as available. For example, you can switch between ship, rail, and truck as means of transportation. The geographically closer location will also provide more flexibility to cope with swings in demands. Nearshoring, on the other hand, oftentimes refers to moving production facilities from overseas, for example, China, to the US or countries like Mexico and Canada, if the customer is located in the US. This will take out, for example, the risk of delays with shipments. However, labor costs might increase compared to countries like China or South Korea. Overall, this is a strategic assessment and decision. The following questions can help with the assessment. Where are my future customers and markets? What is my sales strategy, B2B, B2C? How fast can I make a change? How much will it cost? And in the end, what will be the return on my investment?
Thanks for that, Joe. Certainly, to your point, not a quick fix, no single answer. That sounds like there's a lot of factors to consider. I know you've discussed many of those strategies in past webinars and regularly present on those interrelated considerations. So for our listeners, please visit cbh.com to find previously recorded webinars on these very topics. So let's pivot and discuss the potential digital strategies that can be considered to manage these supply chain challenges. McKenna, given Cherry Bekaert's expertise in digital transformation, what are some of those key trends driving change in the industry?
Yeah. Well, so since 2019, we've seen a massive disruption in nearly all manufacturing sectors, which has really forced us to accelerate our analytics and digital transformation capabilities. Some of the current significant manufacturing pain points, labor shortage, global competition, increased cost pressure, will continue to benefit from our analysis long after the pandemic, leading to better quality products made faster. And the promise of AI applied to advanced analytics is playing a pivotal role in manufacturing. It's a powerful technique to leverage given the enormous amount of data, repetition of tasks, and multidimensional systems.
So McKenna, for some of us that are less informed on the digital in the digital world, can you explain further how AI works and its application to those outcomes?
Yeah. One way to think of AI is simply as a computer program that you can train with data to perform complex multidimensional tasks. AI uses historical and real-time data to predict critical future outcomes, reduce risk, improve operations, cut costs, and increase revenue. It's easy to fall into the trap of focusing solely on descriptive and diagnostic analytics, which is all hindsight. And we all know hindsight is 2020, which is why training of AI is so critical. With real-time or even predictive AI, we can use what we've learned, what our data is telling us, to better our decision-making for the future. It provides a valuable additional perspective of one that has made subtle connections and relationships from historical results. Using data this way helps to alleviate human error and falls to science to predict the outcome. Just by implementing a data model, we reduce the manual processes needed to perform analytics. AI can help remove the noise and pinpoint the areas analysts and executives need to focus to help manage supply chains. We have a client currently in industrial sales, and with the COVID-19 pandemic, their sales and inventory, of course, took a turn. The old way of being able to forecast the needed inventory to support the sales no longer worked. So my team was able to implement a model that removed the guess and check method and allowed the client to accurately position their inventory that would be needed for the next 18 months, allowing analysts to focus on growth and new product deployment. In this case, we leveraged AI to identify the trends, account for the outliers, and leave us with a representation of products needed to maintain a really good hold on supply and demand.
Wow, McKenna, that sounds like a fantastic exercise for our client and certainly helps them navigate their growth and navigate towards the future. So can you tell us about some of the forms of advanced analytics that may be applicable to manufacturing and to its application outcomes?
So predictive analytics is a form of advanced analytics that examines the data to answer what is likely to happen. Just being able to connect and utilize the available data that exists out in the world can enhance success in manufacturing. Today, we're all acutely aware of delivery times. By utilizing a weather API, building it into our analytics, we can help to predict if shipments will go out on time or if they will be delayed. A company we currently work with was struggling to identify why they were not consistent on product being delivered. They had a gut feeling as to what the cause was, but they weren't able to prove the reason for delays. So we worked with them to implement the usage of a weather API into their existing analytical models. This API incorporated historical rainfall counts along with weather probabilities for all their shipping locations. We tied this into their order data, and we can now identify the days where shipping product will be delayed. So those responsible for shipments can now make preemptive decisions with this information. For companies that are heavily dependent on inventory coming from overseas, we can monitor external factors such as trade agreements, government regulations, social and political unrest, world health, and current events. All this data is out there for us. A recent example would be the Suez Canal being blocked again. Using AI to monitor news results to incorporate these type of events with manufacturer-specific data can help determine risks between decisions of diverting shipping routes or waiting for the wreck to be cleared. And by applying predictive analytics, manufacturers really gain the agility to deeper insights and can make faster, more accurate decisions.
So can we take a little bit deeper dive on how predictive analytics can transform manufacturing?
Of course. So first I want to talk about enhanced productivity. Predictive analytics elevates production line efficiency. Through data generated by sensors and monitors, time and motion can be analyzed on the production floor to see where processes can be improved. Predictive analytic algorithms can carry data models to explore how process changes can increase production in digital twins while not disrupting existing lines. It also leads to enhanced quality. Sensors and production machinery can analyze and flag when faulty products are produced, also lending itself to predictive maintenance, which helps collect insights and flag when a machine needs to be fixed or replaced. This leads to cost savings and reduction of waste. Supply chain prediction also plays a role here. If you're receiving sub-quality feeder parts, you want to know prior to failure testing and final products. It also offers enhanced insights. These insights gained from predictive modeling systems help in managing inventory and supply, creating healthy and productive supply chains. The pandemic highlighted one of the challenges of current lean manufacturing models, the difficulty in adapting to sudden demand changes. If predictive analytics could have highlighted office closures' impact on toilet paper, manufacturers could have quickly adapted by repackaging and sending commercial products to commercial shelves. AI can be instrumental in improving manufacturing safety. And while everyone strives for zero incidences, they do happen. With careful AI training and good analytical models, we can look for those connections and patterns that may be too subtle or random to detect from recent incident reports. And last but not least, enhanced savings. Leveraging predictive analytics, manufacturers can combine demand forecasting, so past years' experiences, with an overall view of the manufacturing process to identify trends, anomalies, and events like risks to accurately forecast. And this can be critically important in inventory of commodity items. Predictive analytics can help us identify when that is.
Interesting points, McKenna. It's clear from listening to you and from the information that Joe shared that strategic supply chain planning and the need for predictive versus reactive analysis has long been a key driver for success for our industrial businesses. The impacts of supply chain disruption have only recently become a dinner table topic since spring of 2020 when the COVID pandemic began. As we all collectively navigate the recent challenges and prepare for the future challenges, it is important for all industrial businesses to perform a strategic assessment of your supply chain, reevaluate your longer-term strategy, and incorporate technology that can strengthen your business against market swings while helping to capitalize on market opportunities. Both of which are critical factors as you strive to grow. As you can hear, our guests are both well informed about this topic and have plenty more to say about how you can navigate potential supply chain disruption, both through planning and through the use of data analytics to bolster agility and business continuity. Thank you both for your insights today. For our listeners, we hope this conversation provided you with some beneficial solutions for optimizing your supply chain strategies. Additional guidance regarding each of the subjects mentioned today can be found in the related guidance section of this podcast webpage. please visit cbh.com/guide for more. We hope you will tune in for the subsequent parts of our series on building a competitive recovery. Next, we will discuss the impact of international tax changes on your supply chain efficiency. Then, in part 3, we will highlight the pros and cons of utilizing vertical integration to ease supply chain challenges. Part 4, we will focus on the benefits new market tax credits can bring to your growth strategy. And in the final part, we will review some of the tax strategies available to offset those potential expansion costs. Thank you for joining us today, and we hope to listen in to the rest of the series.